So welcome back students in this series of Monster Technology. So in the previous video of this series we have discussed about how to install MongoDB and how to run. So now in this video we learn about how to connect MongoDB with the help of Node.js and how to run complete CRUD commands, which is create, read, update and delete command in MongoDB with the help of Node.js. So without wasting any time, let's start. For that, first of all, let's open the Visual Studio Code and the MongoDB compass. So we need the compass for the URL, that URL which we have discussed yesterday, this one. So we need this URI to connect with this database. So now let me open my recent project that we have created, my web project. So this we have done. Now let me create a new file which is, let's say, mongo test.js. First of all, let's copy this MongoDB localhost. So let me copy this. Now to use MongoDB in Node, first of all you have to install MongoDB module. So you have to write down Node. So you have to install npm install MongoDB. Now this will download all the dependencies and all the modules related to the MongoDB. When this command is completed, now we can start using MongoDB directly with the Node.js. So first of all, let's write down var URL. So we have to connect with that URL. Now in this URL, first of all, we have to write down this. Now in this URL, we have to create a database. So for example, in this MongoDB, if I connect to this server, so we have 4 databases right now: admin, config, local and testdb. So we have to create a new test database. So we'll write down /. So let's create a database of name studentdb. Now we have to write down, after this we have to require MongoDB. So we'll write down var mongo equals to require MongoDB dot mongo client. So we have to require this MongoDB. Now we can create a connection, we can create a database. For that we have to write down mongo client dot connect, and we have to connect this URL. So we write down connect URL. After this we have to pass a callback function with error and database. So if the database is created successfully, this will return an object of database, and if not, it will throw error. So I'll write down throw error. After else, now let's write down console.log database created. Now let's save this. So we have connected to this URL particularly, and we have created this student.db database. Now if this DB created successfully, so we'll get the output database created, and if there is any kind of error, we'll get the error also. So now let's write down node mongo test.js. So it shows the output database created. Now after this database created, we also have to database dot close. So to close the connection, as you can see, the connection is open right now. So let's terminate the server, and after this the connection is closed. So now if I open my MongoDB compass and refresh this, so there is basically no changes in the database. So there is no database created right now. So database in MongoDB will only shows up when there is at least one collection in that inside that particular database. Collection is basically equivalent to the tables in the MySQL. So in MySQL we'll create tables, in MongoDB we'll create collections. So we have to create at least one collection in order to see the database working over here. So now to create a collection, we have to execute a command. So for in this else statement, so let me just remove this as the database is created. Now we'll write down var mydb equals to database, and now here we have to mention the database. So our database name is student DB. So we have connected this student DB. Now with the help of this MyDB, we'll create a collection. So we'll create collection, and we have to put the name of collection, which is, let's say, equals to student. Also we have to pass the function as well. So we'll have to pass a function and with error and response. So now in this we'll put this, and console.log we'll write down collection is created. Let's save this. Also let's console.log this result to see what is the result, and in this if we'll throw the error, else we'll do this part. Let's save this and now check the output. So now you can see the collection is created and this is the result. So you can see the database name is student database, the collection name is students. After we have created the collection, let's cross check from the Mongo, refresh this. Now you can see we have a student DB over here. If I click on this, so we have a collection also which name is students, but the collection is empty right now. So for that, let's insert some data. Now to insert some data in the collection, we'll use a function insert one. So if you want to insert one record, for that we'll use insert one, and if you want to insert more than one record, for that you will use insert many. Now let's do one thing. Let's save this code. So to save the previous code, now in this student collection we have created a collection, name student, function is error, response. Now in this, let's erase this. So now to insert a record in MongoDB, we'll have to create an object. So for that, let's create where data equals to, so let me create a data, sample data, name equals to Kuldeep, and let's say age equals to 50, city equals to Ambala. Now I want to insert this record into the MongoDB, and in MongoDB the records are known as document. So I want to insert this document into the MongoDB. For that, I'll write down mydb dot collection, and we have to put the name of our collection. So name of our collection is basically students. Now in this students, we have to pass dot insert one, right? Dot insert one, and in this insert one, we'll pass the data. So after passing the data, we have to enter a callback function, response, and from this we'll have to write a error code. So if we got the errors, we'll throw the error onto the console, and if we got the result, so we'll write down console.log one record inserted into the database, or in MongoDB we'll call the database collection. So we'll write down one record inserted into the collection. Now after this, we also have to close the database. So we'll write down database dot close. Now let's save this. Now let's check the output. So it says, now in the terminal, if I write down, so it says one record inserted into the database. So if I open my database and refresh this, so you can see we have just inserted first record. Now you can see this ID field over here. So the MongoDB automatically generates a ID for the document. That's why there is the ID field. Now just like this insert one, we also have insert many fields. So if you want to insert multiple components, so if you want to insert multiple documents, for that you will use the insert many. Now to write down insert many command, we have to pass an array, and in this array you can do multiple contents. So for that, let's copy this. So if I want to add 3 records, so let me just change some data. So I'll write down Mukul, Mohit and Sumit. Also let's age 55, age 56, age 50, let's say 26, and let's change the city to Mohali. If I save this, now we have to insert many. So syntax of insert many will be, write down dot insert many, and this insert many will pass the data. Now we have to pass the data, and after this we'll also have the function with error and response. And with the help of this response, let's check how many records are inserted. So we'll write down response dot insert count, and we'll write down rows or documents inserted. Let's save this and check the output. So it says 3 documents inserted and close the server. If I open the MongoDB, refresh this, so you can see Mukul, Mohit and Sumit, we have inserted multiple documents over here. So this is the code if you want to insert some data into the database. Also, if you want to get some data out of the database, for that you will have to write down find command. For that, let me once copy this. For that, we will write down find commands. And how to write a find command? Let me show you. So first of all, let's remove this additional data. Now, on the place of this insert command, we'll write down dot find one. The find one command. In this find command, we have to pass the query, and after this, we'll write down function error and response, or we can say error and data. So this is basically the query which we have passed, on the basis of which we are searching something. So right now, as it is empty, it will automatically pass me the first record of the, now let me print the data. If I execute this, you will see the first record, which is Kuldeep, 50 and Ambala. Now if you want to exclude something from the output, you can easily do projection, and if in projection you have to write down id 0. If I run this, you can see only name, age and city. And in this projection, if you pass the name of field and if you put 0 in front of that, so basically 0 means false. So that means you don't want this id field into your output. If also, if let's say if I pass city 0, so it will exclude. So right now we are getting city. If I execute this code now, you will only see name and age. If I put name 0, so now only you can get age. So that's how we can exclude a record from the output. Now if you want to get multiple records, if you want to get all the data from the database, for that you will have the find many command. So for that, let me comment out this. If I copy this, now we have the find command for this. Now in this find command, we'll write down, close this bracket. Now we'll have to convert this to array. So we'll write down to array, and in this to array we'll pass this function. Let's save this and now check the output. So now you can see you are getting output of all the 4 commands. Let me just move this projection so you can get the record. If I save this and get the output, so now you can see you are getting the output of the record that we have inserted into the data. This is how you are getting the data from the database. This is the find command. Now if you want to fetch any specific data, let's say I want to fetch the data in which city is equals to Mohali, so I have to pass that in this bracket. So I'll write down city Mohali. So I only get the last record. You can see the Sumit Mohali. If I put city equals to Ambala, so we have 3 records with city equals to Ambala, Mukul, Mohit and Kuldeep. So I'll write down save. So now you're getting Kuldeep, Mukul and Mohit, because the name of city is Ambala in all of these 3 cases. So that's how you can pass some query, and on the basis of this query you can fetch the data out of the database. So that's the find and find one command. Also, if you want to delete a data, for that, now to delete a record, syntax to delete a record is dot delete one. Now in this delete one, you will mention which record you want to delete. So let's say I want to delete this record where name is Mohit. So I'll write down name Mohit, and after this let's pass the callback function error and response. Now this response will say const dot delete count. So this will tell us how many records are deleted. So if I save this and execute, you can see one record is deleted. So we have deleted the record with the name Mohit. If I open the database, so this is the record with name Mohit. If I refresh this, you can see that record is deleted from the database. So this is how you can delete a database. Now if I write down delete many on this place, so if I write down delete many, and let's put city equals to Ambala. So I'll put city equals to Ambala. So all the record with the city name as Ambala will be deleted after this code. So I'll write down, put. So you can see two records are deleted, and if I open the database, so we have a Kuldeep and Mukul with the name Ambala into the city. So if I refresh this, you can see both the records are deleted from the database. So this is how you can delete a database record in the MongoDB with the help of Node.js. Next, if you want to update a record, for that we'll use the update command. So for that, let me just comment this out and write down the update command. Let me comment this out. And remove this. The syntax of update command is basically you have to write two things. One is query. So I'll write down where query equals to, let's say, the name. So I'll update, I want to update this. So I'll write down name equals to Sumit. So I'll write down name Sumit. So I want to update this record. Now where new value, so the updated values we have. So we'll write down name, let's say Sumit Mehta. Then we'll update age 12 and city let's say Panchkula. Now after this, the syntax is dot update one, and in this update one I'll pass query, and then I'll do, now after this query we have to pass dollar set. Now dollar set is required to update, and then we'll pass new value over here. So we'll set this new value. After this, let's pass the function with error and response, and let's write down this. So we'll write down record updated. Let's save this and check the output. So we have updated from Sumit to Sumit Mehta. If I open the console and refresh this, you can see the new value Sumit Mehta, age 12 and city Panchkula. So this is how you can update a record in the MongoDB. Just like this update, we also have a update many option. So let's say if I have multiple records, so let me insert some more records. So with the insert command, let's say with the insert many command, let's execute this and insert some records. Now let's update many. We save this, open the MongoDB, refresh this. So we have these details. So let's say if I want to update this city from Ambala to something else, so I'll write down from city Ambala to city, let's say Sonipat. If I save this and write down execute many command, record updated, and in the console you can see we have two records with the city Ambala right now. If I refresh this, so you can see the change Sonipat in the database. So this is how you can update multiple commands. So in this code we have just updated two records. So in this video we have inserted the data, we have fetched the data with the find record, we have updated the data, and we also have deleted the data with the delete record. Now if you want to delete the collection, for that you have the drop collection option. So if I want to delete the database, so this is how we can delete the database. Let me show you how to delete the database. To delete a database, we don't need this. So let me write down mydb dot collection. Collection name is students. To delete the complete database, we have the drop command. In this drop command, we have to pass the callback function with the error and the object. So if we have the error, we'll just throw the error, else we'll console.log document, not actually document, collection is dropped, and after this we'll db dot close. Now let's try to execute this. It says collection is dropped, and if I open my MongoDB, refresh this, so you can see there is no collection inside this. In fact, the database is also deleted because that database only consists of one collection, and as I told you before, the database must have at least one collection to be visible into this particular console file. So this is how we can perform the complete CRUD command, which is create, read, update and delete with the help of MongoDB in Node.js technology. So in next video, we'll create a project and I'll show you how to connect this MongoDB with a live project and how to implement this database CRUD commands in the real-time application. So thank you for watching this video.